This next one, Whitestone Real Estate Investment Trust. Now, this is one I've had since the 31st of March of 2021, and I'm about 20% up since then. It's now reaching the level where I could buy back in for cheaper, bring my average share price down, which would be nice. But the reason I want to talk about it is that I've had it for a long time and I do have quite a bit of faith in it. So its ticker symbol is WSR and it's a real estate investment trust. And what that is essentially a trust that deals in real estate. But by law, they have to pay out 90% or more of their taxable income out as dividends to shareholders. And the reason that they do that is to pass their tax burden onto shareholders so they don't have to pay tax on the income themselves. They just give it away and then we pay tax on it, essentially. So Whitestone pays a dividend every month, which is always nice. It's based in the USA, so it's in US dollars. At the moment, it's about $9.50 per share. It has a dividend yield of about 5%, so it pays about 4 cents per share at the moment. Now, I know that's not fantastic, but it is sustainable and it is quite safe. And the reason why it is low is because in 2020 they cut their dividend from 9 cents a share down to about 3 cents a share. So they made the necessary sacrifices at the time to keep themselves going. And because of that, they now have a safe enough dividend yield, but also their dividend payout ratio is 60% as of the making of this video, which is sustainable. Now, as I've said before, it is a real estate investment trust, but its job is to purchase and operate open air retail centres. And these are all based in the United States. So you can see here, you can read the description yourself. I won't bore you with all the details, but it's basically a lot of kind of open air shopping centers. And these are some of the locations: Phoenix, Austin, Dallas, Fort Worth, Houston, and San Antonio. But at the moment, they fully own and operate 57 commercial properties. A little bit of information about the company itself. There's a CEO, it's got 77 employees. It's in the services sector, real estate operations industry. And then down here we have the stock information. So its market cap, which is the value decided by the stock market, is $478 million. It has a PE ratio of 25.79. However, the PE ratio is not really useful when trying to work out the value of a real estate investment trust. Their value is calculated with different metrics, so it doesn't really apply. Their current revenue is about $140 million, and they have an earnings per share of about 37 cents, which is obviously not fantastic, but to be honest, it is fairly good. You know, even a few cents over is still positive. It's not great, but this is decent. Dividend yield is about 5%, which is in the sweet spot, nice and safe. As I said before, the dividend payout ratio is about 60%, which is good. Now, there's a nice bit of positive news in the financial summary, but I'll just leave it here so you can pause it and read it yourself if you wish. Their profit margin over the last year is 25%, which is good, and over the last quarter is 31%, so they're doing well. They've made the necessary sacrifices in 2020. Their annual debt to assets ratio is 62%, which is obviously not fantastic, but it is still very good. Their debt to assets ratio over the last quarter is about the same, so they haven't made massive changes to the debt. And the annual cash flow from operating is $44.5 million. From investing is negative $6.7 million, and from financing is negative about $47 million. So not exceptional, but not the worst. Definitely not the worst I've seen. So we'll have a quick look now at the long-term graph of the stock. Now, Whitestone Real Estate Investment Trust was founded in 1998, and this graph goes back to August of 2010. So there's a bit of a gap, but what we can see since then for the last 13 years is that it was quite comfortable between $11 and even $16, hovering up and down. But then down here, this is where lockdown kicked in. This is where the dividend went from 9 cents a share down to 3. So big hits, down to $5 a share. Yeah, low point of $5 a share, which is pretty horrendous. And then over the next 2 years, it came back up close to 13, but it is now suffering because, as you've probably noticed, things are not going very well all around the world regarding inflation and a recession. So open air retail centres will take a bit of a hit because they're not absolutely necessary expenses. But I think that Whitestone made the necessary sacrifices at the time to keep themselves going. So it has a 52-week high of $10.74 and a 52-week low of $8.15. So it's kind of in the middle of those two metrics. And then a quick look at the dividend history. But as I've said before, it went from about 9 cents per share down to 3 when things fell off a cliff. But it is important to take note that since that drop, it has crawled from about 3.5 cents a share. It's currently up to 4. So I think that as time goes on, that they will start bringing the dividend back up. Now I have no way to say for certain, but I believe in it enough to invest in the company. So overall, I think it's a good one. Quick summary of it. Ticker symbol is WSR. It costs $9.50 per share at the moment. Current dividend yield is about 5%. Its current dividend payout ratio is about 60%, which is good. It pays a dividend once per month, and it works out at about 4 cents per share at the moment. So that's all for this one. And if you have any questions about it or suggestions, or if you've held Whitestone REIT for quite a while, I'd love to know how you felt about it. I do think it's a good one, but things could change tomorrow, as always. So I'd be interested to hear how your own experience has been with it.